objectively well written, but after they stopped hating each other and started being really nice to each other, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of bored. Hey everyone, it's Mia, and yes, I haven't made a YouTube video in a very long time. Despite that, people keep on subscribing and commenting anyway, which I really appreciate. So today I'm making a video that no one asked for, but I wanted an excuse to talk about romance books for a very long time. It's gonna be fun! So today what I'm doing is I am ranking 24 romance books that I have read in recent years. Now there's only 24 books, which really doesn't seem like much because I thought that I had read like way more. But then again, when I was choosing books to put on this list, I kind of narrowed down the categories. So all of these books are only straight romances, and I also didn't choose books that I thought weren't really in the romance genre as much. Like for example, Normal People, I mean, I guess that's a romance, but I think it's more literary fiction. I'm gonna say it's more literary fiction because I want to pretend I'm an intellectual. So over here is my tier ranking. I made it myself, I'm so proud. So we have 6 categories. The top one is I legit believe and love now. I think that I'm a pretty cynical person, but if a book can make me believe that love exists, then that's pretty impressive. Then we have the second category, which is you're pretty cute, let's date. Then we have the third category, let's just be friends. So it's like, I like you, but only in a friend way. You're kind of friend-zoned. Oh, I should have wrote down friend-zoned. That's alright. Anyway, and then we have the fourth category, which is it's not you, it's me. As in, these books might be objectively good, but I just didn't like them for some reason. And then we have the fifth category, which is it's not me, it's you, because you're boring. Then we have the sixth category, which is Hate to Love Psycho Edition. Yeah, I was really proud of those names if you couldn't tell. I spent like a long time thinking of them, so I hope you guys appreciate it. Anyway, let's start ranking! Okay, so let's start off with the first book I see here, which is Anna and the French Kiss. Now, apparently liking this is problematic, so you know where I'm gonna put it? In I legit believe in love now, because, I mean, I know that it has its problems. I made a whole video about it, and in that video, I also talked about why I really loved it, because I love that book. Alright, next one is Beach Read. So I'm gonna put this in it's not me, it's you, because you're boring. So the thing is, Beach Read maybe is a little bit more women's fiction-y than romance, but even though I gave this book 3 stars when I read it, when I look back at it, it's kind of depressing. Like, it deals with heavy topics, which isn't necessarily its fault, but I just didn't really enjoy it as much. I thought it was, Okay, Birthday Girl. So I'm putting this in I legit believe in love now. This is kind of a weird book to make me believe in love, but like, I think this book actually did a good job of writing a romance. Next we have Credence, which I'm going to put in the Hate to Love Psycho Edition. So the thing about Credence is, I don't want to spoil it because the main premise is that there's basically 3 love interests, but one of the love interests is an actual psycho, and it's just not my cup of tea. I mean, I like to have an intense hate to love, but this kind of hate to love, it goes too far for me. I think he's a psycho. Also, another thing that kind of irritates me about this book is that I feel like with this book, it's sort of promoting this psycho love interest as if he's not that much of a psycho, when I think that he kind of is. Okay, moving on, we have If I Never Met You. This goes in You're Pretty Cute, Let's Date. So the thing about this book is that I gave it only 3 stars, but when I think back on it, I actually really enjoyed it. It's a British book. It just reminds me of those like British rom-coms like Notting Hill. I love that movie. And what else about it? Oh, it's also basically like the fake dating trope, but in the adult world. So the 2 main characters work at a law firm. I just think it's really good. I enjoyed it. Actually, the only thing I don't really like as much is the romance. I feel like that could have been more developed, but it's still pretty fun. Next we have Isla and the Happily Ever After, which I'm also going to put in You're Pretty Cute because I remember reading this when I was like 15? I think I was 15, and I really enjoyed it. Not as much as Anna and the French Kiss, but it was still pretty fun, and yeah, it's just like a good sort of escapism. Okay, so next we have our first Christina Lauren book, which is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, which I'm putting in It's Not Me, It's You, because you're boring. So I read this book last year, and maybe I went into it with really high expectations because I feel like a lot of people really enjoy this book, and Christina Lauren is hailed as a fantastic writer duo. However, I just didn't really enjoy it. I didn't care about the characters, I didn't care about their dumb relationships, so yeah, I don't really have anything to add. So, yes. Next we're moving on to Culty, which I'm going to put in You're Pretty Cute, Let's Date. yeah, this was like my first Mariana Zapata book, and it's basically about this girl who has this idol, this soccer player idol called Culty, and then he becomes her coach because she's also a soccer player, but then she realizes that he's kind of a grumpy man. But then they become friends and then they fall in love. I think that what I like about this book is more of them kind of forming their friendship. It was still really fun though. Actually, after reading this, I was like, I kind of want to be a soccer player. Okay, so next we have Lola and the Boy Next Door. I'm gonna put it in It's Not Me, It's You, because you're boring. I just didn't enjoy this. Maybe it's because I had really high expectations after Anna and the French Kiss. But Lola and the Boy Next Door, I just felt like it was really boring. I didn't care about the dumb love interest or the main person, the main Lola chick. And I think that what this book lacked was all the suspense and tension that Anna and the French Kiss had. Like, I don't even know what the conflict was between Lola and her dumb interest. Her interest is named Cricket. Sorry, that's really mean. I mean, no offense if your name is Cricket, but I just didn't care for him. Alright, moving on, we have Me Before You. This is a very well-known book, you'll know this. I'm gonna put this in You're Pretty Cute. Oh, yeah, You're Pretty Cute, Let's Date. So I think that I gave this book 5 stars when I first read it. In my mind, it's not an absolute favourite, but I still really enjoyed it. So the thing about Me Before You is that I had already watched the movie, I'm pretty sure, before I read the book. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that the movie is a little bit less deep, as in I feel like it's more shallow and it's more uplifting, which is fine, but the book surprised me because I feel like there's a larger exploration of the idea of assisted suicide, which, spoiler alert, but that's like a really major thing within the book. Yeah, 16-year-old me was actually pretty impressed with like how many points of view regarding assisted suicide were present in the book and how they all conflicted with each other. Like, it wasn't just like the relationship, but it was also that whole thing as well. You probably don't care, but I'm just saying. Let's move on. So next we have Paper Princess by Erin Watt. I'm gonna put this in Let's Just Be Friends because this is like the perfect trash book that you know isn't good for your brain, but like it's kind of fun. Like, I read it really quickly. I kind of hated it the whole way. I was like, oh my god, this is nonsensical. This is so dramatic, but I'm still reading it. So it's basically about this girl who's like having a terrible life. I'm pretty sure her mother died. She's just like struggling to make ends meet, and then this random guy comes out of nowhere and he's like, I'm super rich and I'm gonna look after you because I was friends with your father who was also super rich. And then she goes to live with this random guy, and this random guy has 4 sons who hate the main chick. And the main chick's name is Ella, as in like Cinderella. I think that's what the reference is anyway. Is her name actually Ella? Yeah, Ella Harper. See, I have the paper version. Maybe I should reread this. Let's talk about Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas, which is a Hate to Love Psycho Edition book. So with this book, like, I love a Hate to Love, as I already mentioned. If you've seen like literally any other video on my channel, you probably know how obsessed I am with the hate to love trope. In this case though, the hate to love trope is set in high school between 2 high school characters. And it's not your average we're rivals in math class trope. No, it's like an intense, kind of like dangerously intense hate to love. And I just feel like all the stuff that goes on in this book is just a little bit too crazy for a high school setting. Like, I kind of wish that it would have been set in college. I feel like I might have preferred that. However, I do understand why Penelope Douglas did set it in high school, because this book does have themes regarding, you know, growing up, and when you're in high school people put on these facades so they can fit in and not be judged, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I just think the biggest thing that freaks me out about this book is that it's a little bit too hatey rather than lovey, and the whole high school thing kind of freaks me out. Moving on, we have Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which I'm gonna put in It's Not You, It's Me, because this book is kind of like a soft hate to love. And when I say soft, I mean like it's kind of hate to love at the beginning, but then it just fades away really quickly. This book, I can tell, is objectively well written. As in, the words, the sentences, they're all good. The characters, they're solid. Yeah, I think it's objectively well written, but after they stopped hating each other and started being really nice to each other, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of bored. I will try and read the second book in the series though, because I know that these books are really highly regarded on BookTube. Alright, so moving on, we have The Deal by Elle Kennedy, which is, I think I'm going to put it in Let's Just Be Friends, because it's another one of those books where I was like, I don't think this is really the greatest, but I still am going to read it really quickly because it's really easy and simple to read. This is like one of those books that will fill in your boredom, but maybe it's not particularly special. Next we have The Hating Game. Ah! I'm going to put The Hating Game like, I don't know whether I should put it before Anna or after. I don't know, I'll put it before, but I don't know if that necessarily means I love it more. I like these two equally. I like them for different reasons. I've only read The Birthday Girl once, but I've read The Hating Game 3 times, and I think I've read Anna and the French Kiss like maybe 3 times, at least 3. So The Hating Game is awesome because it is the hate to love trope, but like it is done so perfectly. I read The Hating Game twice this year. Twice, which is really crazy for me because that's like basically breaking the rules of reading. I'm kidding, there are no rules, but like most of the time I like to avoid reading the same book twice in a year, but I read it twice this year. Maybe I should make a whole video about why The Hating Game is perfect from like a narrative point of view. Maybe I'll do that in the next time I reread it, which I probably will next year, but I just really love that book. Like, I love it so much. It actually, yeah. It's quite depressing how much I love it. Actually, you know what's more depressing? The fact that I will never write a hate to love book that is as perfect as The Hating Game. I have The Kiss Quotient, which I'm gonna put in It's Not You, It's Me, because, okay, I don't actually know whether it's me, because I read this at the beginning of last year, and I didn't really enjoy it as much, but everybody loves this book. And I had read this at a time when I really hadn't read that many romances, so I'm just wondering, maybe it was actually good and I just wasn't used to the romance genre, or maybe it actually wasn't as great as everyone thinks it is. So I'm not really sure about this one, but I will say that I think the premise is very fun. We have The Mistake by Elle Kennedy, so I think that this book is, it's like The Deal, as in it's very light and kind of, you know, it's just like fun, but I didn't really like it as much as The Deal, and I didn't care for the characters, any of that, their dumb drama. So I'm gonna put this in It's Not Me, It's You, because you're boring, but I think I'm gonna put it after Beach Read. So next we have The Unhoneymooners, which I'm going to put in this category, It's Not Me, It's You, because you're boring. But I'm just trying to think about how much I hate it. I think I like it slightly more than Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, but I was just severely disappointed by this book. I mean, it's probably not as bad as I think it is, but I just have very high expectations about my hate to love books, and this did not meet my expectations. It would have been so good though. Like, it's literally about two people who hate each other, but they go on this fake honeymoon to Hawaii, but the actual book wasn't that great. We have To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, which I'm gonna put in here. I don't know. It's probably on par with The Unhoneymooners. I didn't really enjoy this book. Next we have Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I'm gonna put this in Let's Just Be Friends. Okay, so it's been a while since I read this. I think I read this when I was kind of youngish, as in a couple of years ago, and it kind of blew my mind, and not in a good way. I was like, oh my god, this is like scandalous. But like, it's been so long that I can't actually remember what it's about, or like how good it was, or like how dodgy it was. I know that in the past Colleen Hoover has been criticized for the relationships she portrays because they're like kind of dodgy. I still kind of want to read them though. Like, I kind of want to read more of her books and get a feel for her as a writer. Next we have Vicious, which is going in my Hate to Love Psycho Edition book. It is the least psycho-ish though. So I'm gonna put that at the end, but maybe I should move it around the other way. So the thing about the psychoness in Vicious is, I don't think he's that psycho. He is definitely immoral, or is it just amoral? But I think the problem is that it's fine to have an amoral character. I think that's interesting, but I think my problem is that at the end of this book, the author, LJ Shen, is sort of implying that he's like not that dodgy, like he's kind of been redeemed, and you know, his love interest, the main chick, is like, oh yeah, I love you, or something. I can't really remember. I just think that he's not actually redeemed and that he's still a dodgy guy. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't mind you being a little bit dodgy, but just don't pretend that you're actually good. You know, like, you can be a dodgy character, be a dodgy love interest. Just don't pretend that you've had a redemption arc, because you haven't. Moving on, we have Walk of Shame, which no one has heard of, so let's not even discuss it. I'm just gonna put it in It's Not Me, It's You, because you're boring. And we'll probably put that, I don't know, like, probably somewhere at the end. It was very boring. Very plain. No spice. It's meant to be a hate to love. Where's the spice? Where's the hatred? So next we have The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, and this was pretty okay. I'm gonna put that here and Let's Just Be Friends. This book is ginormous. I read it on my Kindle. I did not think how big it was until I saw it in paperback, and I was like, what the heck? I think I've just read The Order of the Phoenix, and it's this dumb romance. And okay, that's kind of harsh. It's not dumb, but like, If you see the length of it, you would have thought that more development would have occurred in those millions of pages, but I feel like in actuality it's very slow paced. And I don't mind a slow burn romance, I just don't like books that are slow paced. Also, another criticism about this book that probably hindered my enjoyment of it was that I feel like it's really similar to Culty, as in both books have a slow burn romance with this sports person. This sports person is kind of aloof and grumpy-ish. I think with these two books, the one that you read first is probably the one you enjoy more, but I did read Culty first, so I enjoyed that more. Also, I think that I like the character of Culty more than this Wall of Winnipeg fellow. I feel like I don't even know his name, but I feel like we don't really get to know his character as much. Lastly, we have this book by Erin Watt, which I borrowed from my school library, which is kind of weird because no one has heard of this book. And yeah, anyway, I'm gonna put this in. It's not me, it's you, because you're boring. Let's put this maybe here? I don't know, I can't remember how good it is. I just remember it's like a really cliched plotline. It's like something you would read off Wattpad. It's basically about this girl who is hired to be the fake girlfriend of this really famous pop star so he can fix up his image. And then they fall in love. Awesome! Yeah, I don't have anything else to add apart from that. So this is my tier ranking. These are all the books ranked. Are these in the right order? Yeah, I feel like this is pretty much in the right order. They're all kind of where they should be. Oh, maybe I'll move this down a bit. This might go there. That might go there. Something like that. I feel like that's pretty accurate. So that's the end of this video. If you made it to the end, congratulations. Also, let me know if you have any videos that you want me to do in the future, because as I already mentioned, I haven't been on YouTube for a while, so just tell me what you want to see from me and I will likely make those videos. And yeah, I think that's all for today, so I will see you in my next video, which will hopefully come soon. Bye!